What's going on, guys? It's Michael MGF, and today I'm going to be doing my first ever double review and my last LEGO Marvel Superheroes Avengers Infinity War set review for spring 2018 on both the Outrider Dropship Attack and Thor's Weapon Quest. The Outrider Dropship Attack set number is 76101. The recommended ages are 6 through 12 and an piece count of 124, while the price point is $14.99. And then Thor's Weapon Quest set number is 76102. The recommended ages are 6 through 12 and an piece count of 223, while the price point is $19.99 for this one. And so, 2 sets, 1 video. Haven't done this before. Hopefully this works out. The majority of you guys on Instagram seem to agree that this was the best way to do this video, and I also kind of want to move on to other things like actually making all of the custom minifigures to celebrate the release of Avengers Infinity War that I've been promising constantly in like every video. And so, with all that said, let's do it. So, the new Captain America or Steve Rogers or Nomad or whatever is a pretty cool minifigure. It's just, I really am only fond of the torso, and this is probably going to be the most negative I'll be on minifigures for the entirety of these reviews, because this figure is really a letdown for me. Let me just say I love the torso. I really do. I love the updates to it. I love that LEGO did remove a portion of the star, even though, I don't know what concept art they were looking at, but the entirety of the star, as you probably know, is removed from his suit in the movie. And I love how they darkened the lower half of the torso, the white. It's been all been darkened. They pretty much completely redid a significant portion of the design and totally updated it from the Age of Ultron variant, which I really appreciate. And I love the new buckles and everything about the new belt, and the design is great. And the same can be said for the back. It's just this new head and the claws are kind of off for me. I don't really think that this new head is Chris Evans, like, really at all. I mean, I think the eyes are pretty close, but the beard and the jagged mouth don't really do it for me. And the attempt to kind of add color variety in the actual beard itself, it kind of looks weird. I don't know. Is that just me? I'm just not overly fond of this one. And then the alternative facial expression is, well, that. So, yeah, then the actual claws, which in the movie, actual like vibranium shields are just, repurposed pieces. We've seen these countless times at this point, and LEGO just kind of, was like, these will work. So, I mean, that's fine. Again, concept art, I don't know what they were looking at when they designed this, but then the hairpiece is like, I mean, you look at that, and I mean, I really hate to do this, but the custom version that I made, I mean, personally, I decided that this hairpiece was a bit more fitting for Chris Evans' hairstyle in the movie. I mean, I just don't really think that basically the exact same hairpiece as Star-Lord really works for this minifigure, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. Let me know what you think of the new Cap down in the comments. Next up, Black Widow. This is definitely not the best minifigure LEGO's ever made. I mean, it's also not the worst. It's okay. It's just the torso is sand green. And that sucks, because that is not LEGO's fault. In the concept art for Infinity War, Black Widow's vest was definitely more green than it is gray in the final, which ended up being in the final film. And so it's really nobody's fault, but that sucks, because this is a really fantastic design printed onto a sand green torso, and it is a little awkward looking. But that design does continue onto the back, and it does look really good. I just hope at some point in the future we can get it printed onto a black or a gray torso. So yeah, then the batons are lightsaber blades. Again, I honestly would have preferred just black bars at this point if LEGO doesn't want to make new baton pieces. And then the hairpiece, standard Black Widow hairpiece, Age of Ultron hairpiece, just in blonde, which is understandable. It's not long enough and not quite the style this time around, but it's totally understandable why LEGO would use it. And then the face is actually Jyn Erso's from Rogue One. So instead of Scarlett Johansson, we got Felicity Jones. But that's okay, because, I mean, you take a look at, like, for instance, the more neutral facial expression for Jyn Erso, and it actually kind of does resemble Scarlett Johansson a little bit. You know, a likeness to an actor on a minifigure tends to be able to work for multiple characters on occasion, and I think this might be one of them. And so it's not really that bad of a decision, if I'm being completely honest. And then the legs, we've seen these legs several times before this past year, and they're surprisingly accurate for Black Widow's suit in the movie. She actually has straps in that exact same format. So yeah, it's just kind of, I think this is a really solid minifigure. I just think it's kind of a shame that the whole concept art problem happened with the torso. If you've kept up with the Infinity War reviews at all, then you would have seen the Outriders by now. There is no difference with these guys, but you do get two of them in, of course, the Outrider Dropship Attack. And yeah, I love the design on the torso, the face. Again, they have 6 arms. We've seen this apparatus on several minifigures in the Infinity War sets, and you can see that they have droid arms attached to all 4 hinges. And there's a look at the back of the torso design, very detailed and super awesome. And you get a total of 4 Outriders if you buy all 6 sets. I don't know why I mentioned that. So the Outrider Dropship is definitely pretty cool. I can only imagine that it is like kind of a scaled down version of the dropships we've already seen in the Infinity War trailer. So it's definitely pretty cool though. However, it seems to be a lot more colorful. So there is that, more dark blue and even turquoise, which is definitely pretty rare. I don't see a lot of turquoise in the sets that I happen to pick up. But on these dark blue 2x4 tiles on both wings, you can see that we do have this sticker for added detail, which is definitely pretty interesting. It almost kind of looks, it looks sort of organic with the patterns and how it's designed. So I mean, I don't know if that has any merit to, you know, what this ship is or how it works or what have you, but you do have a similar design extending onto those dark blue flaps that you see further down toward the bottom, and of course that is inverted those stickers onto the opposite side of the build as well. So there is that. On the front we've got a couple of stud shooters, which of course are just on a couple basic pieces, and so they have actually the full range of motion. They can go full 360, so that is pretty cool. However, if you don't know how a stud shooter works, you push down on the gray lever and they fire completely. I think, oh wait, that almost flew off the studio, but not entirely. Either way, I don't care enough to get it. So we can fold down the 2 wings and then the 2 cockpit pieces as well. And inside, you can see we have both Outriders standing up. However, their arms do have to be put out in front of them for them to actually fit inside. And you can see on the front, we have a little control panel, and that display does have a blueprint and some information. It looks like about Black Panther and the Space Stone, because of course the Space Stone is the one included with this set in particular. And so our second to last Infinity Stone goes right here on this gold plinth on the back of the ship, and if it would actually fit inside, that would be really great. There it is. And so that works out pretty well. And it would be, I mean, if we're watching Infinity War and 2 freaking Outriders actually managed to secure an Infinity Stone, I think the Avengers should probably just give up. But either way, you fold the cockpit pieces back up and then the wings as well, and you have the Outrider Dropship, man. And it's definitely a really cool build, especially if you get like, I don't know, you know, 2 or 3 of these and make a pretty cool little diorama. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. You know, I'm guessing a lot of people are going to get personally offended for me pointing this out, but I just really don't like the box design. Like, I just really wish Black Widow was moved further to the right. I don't know why. It just bothers me. That was like nitpicking on a whole new plane of existence. Anyway, you can see we got Cap sporting the actual size reference on top, and oh boy, all the features that I already showed you. The instruction manual definitely originated from a tree, and you can see we've got 47 pages, and you got advertisements, which are practically the same as the other 4 reviews, and that. So there you go. So now we're moving on to the next set, Thor's Weapon Quest, and you can see the first minifigure included with this set is, oh boy, you guessed it, Thor. And this minifigure, again, same problem, concept art that this figure was based off of. I'm guessing did not include the eye patch because Marvel, I'm assuming, wanted to avoid spoilers, and maybe the suit that he ends up wearing for Infinity War was darker in said concept art, if I were to guess, because as you can tell, this minifigure is all sorts of inaccurate, which is kind of a shame. And something else I wanted to bring up to you guys, and maybe get some of your opinions on. Do you guys think that Thor should have dark tan hair? I mean, I honestly feel like this like basic, this color that we've seen on, Star-Lord, for instance, it works for Thor. It's really not that bad. It's not that big of a deal, but I just kind of wonder if dark tan would maybe be better and just a little bit closer to like his more blonde hair color, or maybe not. Anyway, you'll notice that he does have a brick-built accessory this time around, and you can pretty much tell the pieces that's comprised of. This, of course, is the new weapon that he creates in Infinity War, and that's might be considered a spoiler for you. I apologize, but it's called the Stormbreaker, and it's basically going to replace Mjolnir, and I have no idea what it'll do or how he'll use it, so that's cool. Then you can see the back of the minifigure with, it's honestly slightly more detailed than the front, so that's pretty cool. And then you can see, without the eye patch, you can imagine that the eye patch is also not on the alternative facial expression, because this is literally the exact same face from the Thor Ragnarok sets. The head is exactly the same, just copied and pasted over, so Yeah, there's Thor. I'm not gonna lie. I really wish this minifigure was a little better. Speaking of copying and pasting things, Rocket Racoon is exactly the same from the Volume 2 sets. There is no difference here whatsoever, so I'm really not gonna cover this in too much depth. You can kind of see the torso print. I'll go ahead and remove the headpiece really quick and just kind of pull the tail down a bit so you can see that. And that's the design on the back of the torso. And then his blaster was the only thing changed, because now he has a dark gray Alien Conquest blaster. However, he's got a cylinder plugged on the barrel, the barrel on the top. So it looks like Rocket's like ready to shoot marshmallows or something. And finally, the last minifigure for the Infinity War set reviews and the best minifigure in this set, Teenage Groot. Check that out. This minifigure is super cool, featuring an entirely new headpiece, and I love it. I think that is so fantastic, and I definitely plan on probably attempting to paint it up for my own custom baby Groot. That's not right. Teenage Groot when it comes time to make him for Infinity War. The face is a little wonky. I think he could have benefited from some version of eyebrows. So to some extent, I just think that it's kind of odd looking up above the eyes. But that's a nitpick, man. This is a really fantastic minifigure, but kind of similar to Thor. I wonder what it would have looked like if LEGO had used the primary color of dark tan, because I think that would be a little bit closer to Groot's color, his color scheme, whereas this straight brown, I think is a little too dark. I don't know. Do you agree? Maybe not. I think that using brown on Groot has become kind of outdated, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but the torso design is fantastic, as is the design on the back. I think it would have been great if you had some leg printing maybe, but I mean, I'm just really happy that we got this entirely new head. It's really awesome. Okay, so the Rescue Capsule and Space Forge are interesting to say the least. We definitely know that the Rescue Capsule is included in the movie. We've already seen it in the trailers, actually, and the best part, I think, about the entire Rescue Capsule is that, of course, if you watched the Thanos Ultimate Battle review I did a couple days ago, this connects to the back of the new freaking Milano, man. And that is so cool. That's what these connectors here are for, and I absolutely love that. This $20 set being able to connect to that $70 set would probably be my favorite feature of this set, and it's that it connects to a set that you don't even get, a much larger set, so that's cool. Anyway, what I really like about this design is the abundance of sand blue pieces used. It's really cool. I don't usually see a lot of sand blue parts used to this degree, and so I really thought that was great. You can see on the top we do have a couple stickers, which are pretty nice, and those just are there for some added detail. We also have some stud shooters, some purple stud shooters, and again, you push down on the gray lever, and oh boy, you guessed it, they fire. Wow, that went all the way to the corner of my room. Okay, that's gone. But you can see the cockpit also folds down, and inside we have a space for Rocket. Where did I put Rocket? Found Rocket. So, taking Rocket, you can just stand him up right on the two studs available for him, and then close up the cockpit, and he is officially inside the Rescue Capsule, so that's pretty cool. And then you can see on the sides of the capsule, we've got more stickers for added detail, which are definitely pretty great. Exactly the same, just inverted on the other side, so that's the thing. And then on the back, we have tons of, 4 purple cheese slopes for some lights, I would imagine. And then the entirety of the roof can be lifted off, and inside we can stand up Thor, because there is another couple of studs available for another minifigure to be, it's sort of like behind Rocket, and that's pretty much exactly what we see in the Super Bowl Infinity War spot. I think, exactly the shot of Thor right behind Rocket inside this pod, so that's pretty cool. And then you have this entire glass dome piece, this dish that opens up from the back, and so you pretty much, this can be open from either side, and that's definitely pretty awesome. But I freaking love this pod, man. I mean, it's already a really great build just as a standalone design, but then the fact that this entire thing connects to the new Milano just makes it that much better. And so, Yeah, so the actual Space Forge itself is pretty cool. I don't know if it'll look anything like this in the movie, but you can see it's a relatively small build featuring a bunch of power burst pieces, and you can see we do get a full set of the power burst pieces that were introduced in January and carried over into the Sanctum Sanctorum Showdown and also into the Thanos Ultimate Battle. I talked about them more in depth there, but they're all grippable by minifigures and made of soft plastic, and you can see we got Thor sporting a couple of the larger pieces here, and then you do get a couple of these flame pieces, and they're kind of, they look kind of like flames. And then you do also have these smaller pieces and this like star thing. It kind of looks like a star, not really, but you get what I'm saying. And then the other three are actually on the build. The main one kind of looking like a shield almost, with the most energy can be rotated via a basic Technic wheel on the back right there. And so you get how that works. You got a couple of slopes here for added detail, and those look good. And it's pretty much the exact same on the opposite side as well. And then the main feature of this set is kind of cool, I guess. The idea here is like Thor is trying to craft the Stormbreaker, right? And so he's charging it up, doing whatever, and then like a freaking toaster, it just shoots out. So it'd be pretty funny if that's actually what happens in the movie, but you get how that works. It's pretty straightforward. Now, of course, we can't forget the Infinity Stone. I low-key forgot to keep the gold plant on the back of the Space Forge for the entire segment, but that's okay, because putting it right there where it belongs, you can see the stone we get with this set is, of course, the Power Stone from Guardians 1. So that is really awesome. It's going to be pretty cool to see the Guardians kind of react to, seeing that same Infinity Stone again all those years later. And so if it would actually cooperate, you can see it plugs right in there. And that's pretty cool. And I don't really have much else to add, to be completely honest. That's really it. That's the Space Forge and everything it has to offer. Is this worth $20? Our final Avengers Infinity War set? Hell yeah, man. I would definitely pick this up. Even though Thor is inaccurate as hell, you do still get Rocket again, and that Groot figure is pretty snazzy. So, with all that said, we've got one more box and one more instruction manual to look at. And so the box is undoubtedly a box featuring Groot with the actual size reference, and then on the back, you can see we do have all the features that I already showed you, along with a pretty nice team-up graphic. Look at that, man. They look so ready to freaking use the Power Stone and take out Thanos. Finally, the grand finale of the Infinity War reviews, an instruction manual. Check this out, and you're not going to believe the surprises inside. The exact same advertisements you already saw in the other 4 reviews. I bet you're blown away. Let's wrap up this entire series of videos. Father, they're here. Avengers, assemble. What just happened? Where are we? Stark? Friday, talk to me. Stark, what is it? 65 million BC. Alright, there we go. That is it for all of the Infinity War reviews. Thank you so much for sticking around for all of these videos and supporting each one of these reviews. It has meant the world to me, guys, and it has been such a pleasure to review the first wave of Infinity War sets for all of you this early. I cannot believe I was fortunate enough to have this opportunity, and I'm just so glad, because I've waited since the fall of 2014, since Infinity War was officially announced by Marvel, to eventually one day review all of the sets for the culmination of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe in official LEGO form. And did these sets live up to the hype? No, because I pictured the best sets ever in my mind, and they were totally unrealistic expectations, right? But there were also some disappointments with these sets. Thanos looked pretty strange. You've got the build for the Corvus Glaive Thresher attack, which I found to be underwhelming, but the Sanctum Sanctorum Showdown, the new Hulkbuster, and the Milano were all such a pleasant surprise, and I was definitely not expecting the feature of having the Thor's Weapon Quest set actually link up and connect with the Milano. So there were definitely some surprises with the Infinity War sets, and also some disappointments. And we didn't have Wong in the Sanctum Sanctorum, which was pretty disappointing. No Bucky, War Machine, Hawkeye, Hulk, Scarlet Witch, Ant-Man, Loki, Drax, Mantis, Nebula. That's my list that I cobbled together of all the characters I know noticed were missing from these sets, which is totally understandable because the vast majority of those figures have already been placed in sets previously in just the past couple of years. So I'm sure LEGO was on that same page and thought that they wanted to have, you know, a much more new and unique and exclusive variety of minifigures for this lineup for Avengers Infinity War, which is totally understandable. You can have new variants and versions of those characters in future sets, like later this year, if LEGO already has those in the pipeline, which I'm sure they do. Hopefully you enjoyed the new style. You might have noticed that I kind of dropped the whole turntable for reviews, and I'm definitely kind of enjoying that. It also makes it a little easier for me to shoot, and I also kind of dropped skits for every video. So if I don't have a skit ready, I decided that I would no longer be allowing that to delay any videos. And so hopefully you guys have enjoyed it, and also shooting all of these reviews on the brand new Canon 80D that I got has also been super awesome. So this entire experience has been really great, but at the same time, I do realize there were plenty of mistakes with that, you know, shots going out of focus. In the editing process, I overlapped some audio for some separate angles, so I really appreciate you guys bearing with me. As you might have realized, I am definitely not perfect. And yeah, so we have only got about 2.5 months left before Avengers Infinity War drops, and I've got 14 minifigures I plan on making in the meantime, and it should be one of the best showcases I think I have ever brought to you guys for what is likely to be one of the best films ever brought to us this generation, with the culmination of this entire Marvel Cinematic Universe as started when I first did on YouTube back in 2008. So this should be pretty special as we're reviewing all of these sets for you guys. And I think on that note, we have to do one last thing. Here's Thanos with all 6 Infinity Stones assembled into the Infinity Gauntlet, the Time Stone, the Power Stone, the Space Stone, Reality Stone, the Soul Stone, and of course, the Mind Stone. What a cool idea for all 6 Infinity War sets, having one stone per set for all 6, and I think that was such a cool idea on LEGO's part. Yeah, the Infinity Gauntlet's a little big, and all the stones are definitely oversized, but I really appreciate the idea, and I definitely think it is really cool despite the inaccuracies that it created, and that is it. Got a lot of work in front of me to celebrate one of the most incredible films that I think will ever be released before all of this finally comes to a close next year with Avengers 4, and yeah. I'll see you guys later. All right. Bye-bye. Can you hear that? That is the sound of a train passing by. Literally the second I finished setting the shot up and as I was about to record. Attack and Thor's weapon. Blah, 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 blah. We got Caps wording the actual. All right.